Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Banfo, and we gotta talk about Rich Paul and LeBron James. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. So let's start from the beginning and break down this entire Rich Paul, Austin Reaves, and now LeBron James saga. It all started earlier this week on the Rich Paul and Max Kellerman podcast called Game Over. On that episode, Rich Paul suggested that the Los Angeles Lakers should acquire Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Memphis Grizzlies. In this trade scenario, he stated that the Lakers would have to give up Austin Reaves because he feels Luka Doncic and Reaves have a similar style of play, and the Lakers need a defensive presence. Many people in the media were confused by the hypothetical trade. First of all, at this moment, Austin Reaves is a much better player than Jaren Jackson. Before he got hurt, Reaves was averaging 28 points per game and was a lock to make the All-Star team. Now, don't get me wrong, Jackson is a good player, but he may have already reached his ceiling as a player, while Reaves has more room to grow. But besides that trade, more people were wondering, why is a current agent in the NBA speaking on a possible trade scenario? Not only is it extremely unprofessional, but you're putting LeBron James in an awkward position because at some point, the media will have to ask him questions. Well, that moment came a couple of days ago after the Lakers versus Hawks game. ESPN reporter Dave McMenamin wrote an article, and LeBron James finally addressed Rich Paul and Austin Reaves. I think you all know by now, Rich is his own man, and what Rich says is not a direct reflection of me and how I feel. And I hope people know that. I hope people know that, and if they're not sensible to know that, then I don't know what to tell them. LeBron James stated. Now, Rich Paul responded to the audience and broke down the dynamic between his podcast and how it affects LeBron James.
Yeah.
How does that work?
He understands this is not like a podcast playground. We're in the content business. And after you get done saying all these different terms, just end it with business. I'm a businessman first. This is a business. So this is my business, just like he has his business. I think it's a respectful behavior that we have towards one another. I think you see agent-client behavior. And I think the other thing that sits up under that is he knows that I wouldn't sit in here I don't do anything with malice or with spite. And if there was something I wanted to say, I go right to the source.
But that's actually a special guy, LeBron. Like I understand, and I've said this on the pod, why LeBron would be perplexed about coverage of him. Because 99, he's a 1 in a billion basketball player. And then he's expected to be a 1 in a million person too, which he really is. Like, to be in this environment and almost never, I've criticized LeBron. I criticized LeBron about his criticism of Daryl Morey and the whole China thing. I was strong criticism of LeBron at the time. But that's here and there. People can do things that deserve criticism. If you're LeBron James and you go, 99% of my game and 99% of me as a person is positive, why does the coverage feel like it's 50-50? It's out of whack, right?
Because of things like he just did.
But so what I'm saying
that's not the norm.
That is what he said. The way he supported you is not normal.
It's not normal.
That's extra. Yeah. And the interesting thing to me that you just said is this is my business. That's his business. I thought of the.
So I understand the explanation LeBron and Rich Paul gave. They have their own thoughts, ideas, and don't want to be connected. But honestly, I just don't believe it. LeBron James has always been calculated. So he knew exactly how to spin the situation and make it seem like he's not involved. But in my opinion, he is, and he's using Rich Paul as his mouthpiece. Now, you might think that's unfair to connect Rich Paul and LeBron James in that manner, but LeBron hasn't earned that benefit of the doubt. This season, as the third option, you can see how frustrated he's been. How can you explain laughing with your opponent down 20 and the coach has to use a timeout to get you back engaged? You just can't explain it. And when passive-aggressive LeBron James enters the building, he doesn't leave until he gets his way. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.